Hello there, and welcome to the QNB Stars League preview show, all in English here on Alcast, as we look ahead to all 6 matches in Week 10 in the company of former Premier League players Nick Summerby and Chris Makin. Just 2 more rounds left before the winter break. Some of these players are going to get 2 to 3 weeks off, depending on their commitment with the club. Chris Makin, how significant is this halfway stage?
Well, the build-up to it is really important. It's 6 points up for grabs now between now and the halfway stage. So I'm looking at the teams that I fancied at the start of the season to be in the, pushing for the top 4. Those teams to get 6 points if they can and turn their season around. I'm talking about Al Arabi, Al Gharafa, Al Ahly. They've had a nightmare time. Big 2 weeks coming up for them.
I guess some clubs, though, Nick, don't want the time to come. They don't want the break, do they? If you're flying, you want to keep it going. But as Chris says, for others, desperate times.
Well, it gets them closer to obviously bringing players in. You know, you have to say about Qatar Sports Club not scoring goals, Gharafa not scoring goals, Al Arabi as well, same as what Chris has just mentioned there. And it's good for them, but the ones at the top of the league, you know, it's about getting into your rhythm, getting into your routine. Probably, I think, Al Sadd might get the better of that because they're yet to do that. So there's a lot of things where it's going to benefit some teams and the other teams it's not going to benefit.
All right, then. Let's head over now to Shaden Wanan, who's going to show us the QSL standings after the 9 rounds and how they line up for Week 10.
Going into Week 10 of the QNB Stars League, Al Duhail remain on top of the table with 25 points. Al Rayyan is in second place with 24 points after 6 consecutive wins. Al Sadd in third with 21 points. Al Saliya make up the top 4 with 18 points. Slal are in 5th with 14 points, having only picked up 1 point in the last 3 matches. And Al Khor jumped from 11th to 6th with 10 points. In the bottom half is Al Kharaitiyat with 9 points. Al Ahly in 8th with 8 points. Al Gharafa down in 9th with 7 points, having only picked 2 points in the last 5 matches. Al Arabi in 10th and Al Markhia 11th, both with 6 points. And popping up the table is Qatar Sports Club with 4 points. As for the fixtures, on Thursday the 30th of November, Al Gharafa face Al Arabi at 1600 Doha time. Later on, Slal will face Al Rayyan at 1810. And on Friday the 1st of December, Qatar Sports Club is up against Al Kharaitiyat at 1600 and Al Khor is up against Al Sadd, which will kick off at 1810 at the Khalifa International Stadium. On Saturday the 2nd of December, Al Duhail meet Al Markhia at 1600 and Al Saliya meet Al Ahly at 1810.
First up, it's Al Gharafa against Al Arabi. It's a bit of a jolly show today. We've got a bit of the giggles, so I don't know what it is. But I better be upfront about it in case we see. I don't know, you know, sometimes it's something in the water. You just can't help yourself. Right, Gharafa, Chris. They lost in Week 9 to Al Rayyan. This is what you and Nick picked out as chances, you know, and this has got to give them some encouragement. Creating plenty, but just not able to finish them off.
Yeah, it was a better performance from Al Gharafa. I thought they looked very strong. Al Yari was really on form on the night. And we'll keep on saying it. You know, they haven't scored enough goals this season. If they can get someone playing down the middle, namely Aladdin, normally making those near post runs, they could be in business. One of those teams that I just said about before, alongside Al Arabi, this is a really big game, but Al Gharafa have got to start scoring more goals, simple as that.
And your earlier point, Nick, right at the beginning of this show, need to bring players in. Yes, Aladdin, you're seeing improvements some of the time, but you still need more for him, and he needs somebody with him.
It shone out even more in this game. I mean, it was laughable. You know, the amount of quality crosses what they put into the box. I mean, this is a little bit too much height on it, but it was. They just kept. I mean, second half, they must have put 10, 12 top quality crosses where it was crying out for someone, just make a run across a near post or make a run across a far post. Look at this. Across the face of goal, go and get yourself a goal. The ball's not going to come to you. Get in there. Look, right across. And I'll tell you something, they played really well on the night, Gharafa. It's the best I've seen them. I don't know if it's because they were playing in the stadium and it brought the best out of them, but there was a lot of positives out of it. And so simple to look at this for a cross again. Look, Get across the near. All you've got to do is get across the near post.
If they play like this and improve on what you're saying against Al Arabi, you'd think they get the better of them, Chris?
Definitely only one winner for me. I thought, I'll go back to it, I thought it was a very, very strong performance against a very good Al Rayyan side. I think they'll have too much for Al Arabi. And we'll discuss the problems in a minute about Al Arabi, but I fancy Al Gharafa in this match.
The only thing with Gharafa there is they're capable. They've always been able to do this to lift the game against the big boys. You know, it's a game like Al Arabi now, when they relax. They cannot get that consistency in the game.
You know what the problem is, but one of their players, Khaled Al-Zariki, also knows what the problem is.
Yeah, that's what I say. It was a good game and good performance. We play good, but we don't have like someone to transfer our performance to win, to score something, so we can get 3 points. We play good, but without score we cannot get nothing.
There we go. There it is. You said it.
not
The
just
players are
us saying
saying, no, it's not just you. The players are aware of the situation as well.
Yeah.
Look, they're up against Al Arabi. Nick, Al Arabi, they got a draw in week 9 against Al Markhia. They scored first as well. They took the lead. Khalfan, not Khalfan, but Ahmed Salah Khalfan getting the goal there. It just, it's like a car when you can't quite start it. Al Arabi.
No, but it's just listen. There's problems at the football club. We know that because of the people we spoke to. Huge problems, by the way. Hence the reason why there's been the managers what they've been. You think in that particular game, you think, well, go on, you've got the goal lead. Hopefully this can lift the club up and get you on your way, but it's just not happening. There's huge problems. And how do you solve that? It's not down to manager. It's people in the background have got to get a grip of the club.
I used a car analogy there, staying there like a stuttering car, failing to start. That's exactly the analogy that their head coach, Luka Banasic, has used this week.
But normally, for the good driver must have good car, huh? It is normal. When we put the bad driver in good car, a good driver in the bad car, who win? I think win the bad driver because have good guy. Same with our team, huh? We have some guys, but it's not so, except 5-6 guys, it's not so experienced, so don't have many games in the QSL League. This is a big problem in this moment for me, like coach, because I know what I want for my team, but he didn't know, sometimes he confused because he's not experienced, he's not quality.
There we go. Back to strength in the squad, not enough quality. That's what he's saying.
Yeah, it's funny at the time we're laughing, not because the manager there, but you got the rest of the guys, the Arabic-speaking press guys there, and they've come back to it at the end, haven't they, Chris? They've gone, we're on about a car. What are you talking about? And he's got to, we know what he's trying to say, but he's going, well, and he got himself in a little bit of it, but it was brilliant.
Anyway, he's just basically talking about the quality, and he feels that half of his team have the quality and half don't. So Al Gharafa against Al Arabi. Nick, why don't you have your first prediction?
2-1 Gharafa.
2-1 to Gharafa. Chris?
2-0. Al Gharafa.
Okay, thank you. Next up, Halal versus Al Rayyan. Okay, Salal, another draw for them in week 9. It was a free kick that they got on the edge of the area. Chris, and...
Yeah, another team. Mind you, we only had 17 goals last week, so a lot of teams failed to score enough goals. But for me, Nick still fancies Salal for 4th spot, and they've got a great chance. I just wonder, do they score enough goals, Salal?
Well, they've certainly dropped points in their last 4 matches.
What have they dropped out of last three matches? They've got 1 draw, so lost
8 points they've lost out on there.
That's massive.
It's a lot of points. Something's not happening at the moment, but are they a side what can get a result here against Rayyan? Yes, they are. Whether they can do it, but they are one of the teams that could get a shot result this weekend.
Okay, well, the head coach, Mahmoud Jaber, is a little frustrated.
Quickly, we have to know what is the reason for this, and we start to correct some fault, and we'll see in the future. I believe we have too much until end of the first round, I hope in these 2 matches we'll come back.
Okay, he's hoping I don't know, before Mahmoud Jabbar, I found that he was quite fixed on what the issue was.
Yeah.
It's almost like he's a little bit lost with it.
Now he's searching for answers.
Yeah.
Doesn't come over
And it's
well.
not to do with the English. It's not the
No.
you know, he knows, he felt that he always knew what the problem was, and now he's
Yeah.
thinking, why are we dropping so many points?
I don't think there's anything worse if you don't know the answer to the problem. I'll go back to that Al Salia match the other week when they lost 3-2. They went 2-1 up, looked fully in control, didn't they? Had chances. They should have beat Al Salia. Came away defeated by 3-2. They haven't recovered.
No, but then they went into the Al Sadd game when the 2 bad decisions went against them. So you're looking at 2 games there where all of a sudden they're thinking to themselves, and now they're trying to scrape around and get the engine going again, basically.
Well, Nick, they're up against Al Rayyan. Let's look at Al Rayyan's goals. Another victory for them in week 9 against Garafa. 3-2 it was in the end. All right, Sebastian getting a lucky penalty there, or a debatable penalty, but away from that, still solid performances, high quality performances.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this goal here was absolutely fantastic. Wonderful pass from Mutawali. Sebastian pulls it back. A lovely partnership between those two, and Hamadallah makes the goal look very, very easily. But he has a picture. He knows what he's doing, and it's as if they're toying with the opposition as well as what Garafa did. You know, he just felt that any time they could just step it up. Another wonderful header there from Sebastian. You know, he's getting from strength to strength. So they're in the mix, they really are. And I'm looking forward to, I do keep mentioning it, but I'm looking forward to when it's a Champions League, you know, when they've really got to use that squad. But yeah, they're title contenders without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, Al Rayyan absolutely flying, as their head coach Michael Laudrup is happy to acknowledge now.
I think we have done fantastic so far, because we played 9 games in the league and 4 games in the cup. So 13 games, we win 12. So I'm very, very happy with the results, of course.
That's not bad, is it? So, Salal versus Al Rayyan. Chris?
I'll go for a comfortable Al Rayyan win 2-0.
Okay. Nick?
2-1 to Rayyan, but they'll go a goal down and start off.
Okay, very specific. Next, Qatar Sports Club versus Al Kharatiyat. Oh, already, this is a basement battle, sort of the old proverbial 6-pointer, Chris.
Yeah, it is.
This was Qatar Sports Club against Salal in week 9. You know, they got a draw. Funnily enough, this was, well, we don't know whether it was he there? Gabriel Calderon was sort of finishing off.
Yeah.
Transitional phase.
Mr. Mubarak has come in, and he came out of a quote today. You know, he wants to be really effective at this football club, and he's promised that they won't go down.
Yeah, well,
big claim.
Let's hear from their new head coach, Qatar Sports Club, Abdullah Mubarak.
I think nice group, about good motivation, a good group, have good quality, and they wanna need work because they need another system, another objective, another idea, tactic to strong mental to play the game. Our team play good, only sometime, you know, make mistake, because now if we make success, I think statistic, I think 2021 we take goal and they score 7. This I think not good for the team. Need make more work.
He's got to start from scratch, pretty much there, doesn't he? That's what he's saying.
Yeah, but I like to look at all the different managers. I like to look at players when they come in. I like to look at the body language. I like to see what they're all about. And he's a positive. You know, he's not worried about anything. He goes up, and sometimes you need that. I mean, that's not going to go at Calderon, because Calderon was wonderful. But I'm just saying, he's got that. Maybe that's something different. That bit of belief where it just gets it going again. You know, he definitely sounds it. He's not fazed by the challenge at all.
They're up against Al Kharatiyat, so as I mentioned, it's you know, points required really by both teams. This was a 1-0 victory for Al Kharatiyat against Al Ahly in week 9. It came courtesy of another sort of debatable penalty. Benson was adjudged to have handled it, and Anwar Diba, for goodness sake, missed the penalty kick. Luckily for him, Tursunov was following up. Al Kharatiyat, they're a bit jittery as well.
No, but what a way to bounce back from that 8-2 defeat to Al Ahly the previous week, to win 1-0 and get a clean sheet. That was a massive win, because Al Ahly were down there as well. Absolute massive win. This is a tough one to call, isn't it? Because I think Nick touched on it there. Mr. Mubarak, very positive. I think he'll have an effect at Qatar Sports Club.
I tell you what I want to see as well is we saw Tursunov scoring there, Tibber Kaneen scoring. They need Deba to get back to that form because everything goes through him. We saw him missing the penalty there. Just need that little bit more from him. If they can get him back, I think it helps the forward players as well.
Right, I'm with you now, so why don't you have your prediction first, Nick? Qatar Sports Club versus Al Khairatia.
2-2.
Draw time,
Yeah.
okay.
So
Chris?
1-1.
1-1, right. Next up, Al Khor versus Al Sadd. Well, Al Khor, Nick, we talk about them, a club. How many seasons have we gone now? With the first part of the season, they're in trouble, and then they string together sometimes 5, 6, 7 wins on the bounce. This is their second on the bounce. Sarouche seems to be the man saving at the moment. But there's a new life there all of a sudden, Nick.
Well, it's gone in the favour. We talk a lot about, are we into changing managers? Well, it's worked for Al Khor, because it's got them going again. And this boy Sarouche is absolutely flying. They've always got this. They've got this habit, backs against the walls when they can produce results. I know we do keep saying it, and they've given themselves a nice platform to play against a weakened, not a strong Al Sadd. So they have a chance. They would fancy it in this game.
Yes, big game this. But let's just look at one of the things that's really upsetting Nick and Chris: the offsides. Chris, you start off on this one. This is what you've been focusing on following last week's show. You looked at it in the review, getting caught offside.
Well, we've been going on about Al Salia. They work it a treat, by the way. They work on it all the time. They hold a high line, and this is Al Khor trying to break it down, and they don't seem to do it. I need Sarouche there to come towards the ball and arch his run. He doesn't do that. Castan times his run to perfection, but Sarouche has already had the touch into midfield. Look, we have a look at it all the time, and we're going to keep going on about it, and this is how you break it down. Isn't it?
Yeah, just watch Hilal here now. It's about timing your run, but making your run with a curve. Watch when the player's on the ball and follow his run so you get it to perfection. That is what you've got to do. What me and Chris are doing is we're not being critical. We're just saying this is what you have to do. And when you get it right, you're going to get a lot of joy out of it. Use a little bit of brain. Think about what you're doing. Don't be too eager and try and get in there before the ball's
You got to
played.
think about it as well. If you do get it right, you get a shot on goal.
Yeah, that's your example there at the end.
Right, Al Khor's star man at the moment. Bring him in. There he is, Sarouche. I tell you what, I bet you thought I was going to say Madsen. No, it's Sarouche. This is in the game, 43 passes, successful 35 of them, assist to shot 2, crosses 2, shots 3, shots on target 1. Thanks to stats.
He's got threw me there. Like that.
Yeah, but he's got 2 goals and he's got 1 shot on target.
No, that's from this week.
Oh,
That's from last week.
So
this
one,
is
one
just
shot, 1 goal?
Yeah,
Don't get
on
no
target.
Yeah. Rodri, you're talking, eh?
Yes, these statistics coming courtesy of Stats, of course. And I just wanted to highlight him because you say we always go on about Madsen. Well, hang on a minute.
Yeah.
At last, we have somebody else. And guess what? They won 2 on the bounce.
Madsen will be pleased, won't he?
Yeah, well, he can't be
joining a workload.
You can't expect him to do it all the time, and this is wonderful that someone else has come into the team and doing what he's doing now, and all of a sudden that'll free Madsen up now. He'll probably get a little bit more time and space, and we can get back talking about him next week.
Right. We will be talking about him, there's no doubt about that. Right, they're up against Al Sadd. Let's just remind ourselves of Al Sadd's goals in week 9. It was, of course, that incredible game. It was a cracker, Nick, but it was defeat in the end. Bunja bundled the goal in there. He went off injured. Nice to see new players coming in as well. Hassan getting a goal for them, but they're not quite at the Al Duhail standard.
Not at all. There was a lot of opportunities De Gea had, and it could have been, thank you to the keeper. Bunja's out for 2 months now. Do I need to say any more? They haven't really got a replacement for him, so they're going to be playing without a centre forward, so that gives Al Khor an opportunity. On the night, De Gea were better. Could have scored more goals, but if anything else, Sadd did manage to get themselves back into the game, and they saw how vulnerable De Gea were at the back. So
do they Al Sadd absolutely have to get somebody in as a centre forward if they to contend for what they did last year? Well, they got 2 cups last year, but the league has missed them for a few seasons now. 5 seasons.
You're talking about a guy what's going to score 20-something plus goals. and he's not in the team now. You know, usually the goals go around. They have not got a centre forward.
I can't believe how the business that Ryan and Al Dahel did in the summer in terms of adding to the squad. And Al Sadd's starting 11 is very powerful, but when they're all injured, they've got no one to bring in.
Yeah, go back to that Romarinho. I know we've said it time and time again. Wouldn't it be great to have him up front there for Al Sadd? Okay, Chris, Al Khor Al Sadd.
Well, I've built it up, so I'll go for a draw. Al Khor 1, Al Sadd 1.
Wow, that would be massive. Nick?
I'm going to go for a draw as well. I'm going to match Chris, 1-1.
Okay, next up, Al Duhail versus Al Markhia. Okay, straight into the Al Duhail goals from week 9, because we know every time we put them up on the screen here, there's going to be goals. 4 of them on the night, and all of them top-notch, Nick.
Yeah, what I like about this game is they came out and they went straight at Al Sadd and they got the goal at the right time. This goal was absolutely wonderful. It came basically from a corner from Al Sadd. Lovely one-touch football, and eventually Al Arabi just putting it away. And we know what they're all about, you know, we know the quality, and this is why they are the best team. I mean, look at this for a striker now, Hisham all of a sudden, another youngster. I mean, everything's going right for Duhail at the moment. The youngster's coming on, he's scoring a cracker, you know, and this is Namti at the end. One of his quieter games, but no, he's there as well just to pop it away. We know what they're all about. They're phenomenal going forward.
Phenomenal going forward. We still ask that question about defence, and I feel bad that we're trying to be overcritical here. This is defending here now, Chris. This is what you and Nick pulled out.
Well, they haven't been at the best all season, and for me, it's just the way that they play. And I wouldn't take anything away from Mr. Valmardi or the football club for the way they think they should play. I think it's absolutely entertaining. We love covering the Al Duhail matches, and we always get goals. We get a bundle of goals, so we're supposed to be in the entertainment industry.
Yes, but you know, this brings hope to other teams.
The only concern is they're getting away with in the QMB Stars League. Will they get away with this defending in the Champions League? I don't know when we go into the Champions League. I presume it's going to be soon.
February, actually, it starts.
Ah, right, okay, sorry. So they're not going to get away with that level of defending against the better sides in the Champions League.
Let's bring the numbers in. Courtesy of stats again. Al Duhail, tackles 1 and interceptions, 19.3. That's 9th out of 12 teams. Percentage aerial duels won, 52.2. That puts them 5th in the table out of the 12 teams. Percentage of ground duels won, 51.2. That puts them 3rd. You know, 6 out of 14 conceded goals are in the last 10 minutes of the game. On the flip side, 10 out of 37 goals that they've scored in the last 15 minutes. It's a lot to digest, but is there a little pattern coming out of that, or something coming out of that?
There's certainly a pattern, the top of the league every week.
Oh, they are?
They are.
They are.
No matter how we try and bring them down, and the stats are down, or they're supposed to be down, but the biggest stat for me is they are 11 or 12 goals better off than Al Rayyan. So the 1 point difference becomes 2 points. Because if Al Rayyan go level with them, then they lose out on goal difference. That's the big one for me.
The thing is with your tackles, they don't really have to do that because they have possession. They have an awful lot of possession. Aerial battles, well, there's not much of that because they've got the ball on the floor and they're playing with it. It's all about really them. They're the one. They dictate the game of football, you know, because of the players what they've got.
Wouldn't you be worried that almost half of the goals that they have conceded have come in the last 10 minutes?
That's a problem. That's what these are the things what we're looking at. We're thinking, is that going to be when they get beat? Is that going to come back to them when they're playing in the Champions League? At the moment we can't.
They're not normally 4-0 up by then. No,
but they're usually cruising then, aren't they? So it's very difficult to say anything. But it was the worst I saw him in defence in the last game. I just thought there was anything into the box was a problem for him. And I think the manager would say that as well. You know, we saw him. You know, they took the lead again, and he was shaking his head. You know, they just looked very vulnerable there.
Right. Well, they're up against Markhia. It's a huge challenge, but goodness me, what a goal this was for Al Markhia in week 9, Nick.
This is the quality. This is, you know, I do rave a lot about this guy. The reason why is because I'm surprised no one actually signs him on and keeps him. You know, he proves that he scores goals. The only thing what has upset me is with the signings what have come in, it's gone to plan. I thought it'd be upbeat. I thought there'd be competition, as the manager said, in the squad. You know, this is the only little bit of light we've seen now. I'm expecting a lot better for them. I'm expecting not a relegation battle because of the players what have come in. You know,
It-
and it's not gone that way.
It is a huge challenge. There's no getting away from that, as their head coach, Yusuf Adam, is well aware.
Sure, it's the best team until now because Dehel and Ryan, they are the best in this moment. Until now, they are the best. And Dehel, he's the best because he have a strong attacker. The player in front in the Dehel team, they are dangerous. They have too many players can score goals, and it's really difficult for us. And we must be concentration for this game more than 100%, 90 minutes, because when we face one team have like these players, we must focus all the game.
He knows it's a big challenge. It's all about concentration. You can't write them off. They've had some good performances. And let's remember, you know, Al Duhail can't be perfect or near perfect all the time. Al Gharafa got a point away from them. They're the first to have put up a fight, but also it wasn't a great night for Al Duhail. But it happens.
Yeah, they've only dropped 2 points in what, 9 games? So about Al Markir with the concentration levels there, it's so hard against De Gea. It's like Yusuf Adam said there, they've got so many variety of options coming at you from left, right, centre. Yeah. For a defender, if you part of that back four, it's a long 90 minutes that.
So, Chris, Al Duhail versus Al Markir. I think I know where you're going with this.
A matter of how much, isn't it? Go 3-0 De Gea.
3-0 to Al Duhail. Nick.
3-2 De Gea.
All right. Finally, Al Salia versus Al Ahly. Right, Al Salia. Top 4. I was there saying, are they title contenders? This was a slip-up in week 9, wasn't it, Nick?
Just because of the chances, I mean, the manager's obviously going to tell us in a minute, but do you know what? The beauty of football is you can get as much confidence and you can probably just get a little bit sure of yourself. I mean, these are the chances where they should have really put the game to bed. They worked very well on this left-hand side. Timur with a lovely pass to Lazar. They seem to get in very easy. This is what I'd try and stop if I was Al Ahly. Probably should have done better there, tried to curl it to the far post. Once again, working it down this left-hand side. Here's Belhaj again. You know, and it's just watch this here. Try and get across that near post and send some bodies in. It's 0-0. I mean, the first half literally was just all Salia, you know, and that's when they should have finished it off.
I don't think there was any difference between the attitude, especially in the first half and the rest of the season. The first half, they pounded that goal. There was crosses coming, fantastic opportunities. The turning point for me was the captain Majdi just before half-time. Got sent off, and it changed the game completely.
Well, Al Salia have been going so well, or we say it, you know, they've been doing well. That's what we thought. Well, this is what Sammy Trapelsi thinks.
It's big word to say the going well. I think we do some good thing, not a big good thing. I think the problem, I speak about it many times, here also in conference, the mentality, how we playing, how is our motivation. I think at last game, we win it before starting the game. I think player don't play this game with more concentration, with more application. I'm not afraid about technical or physical. I'm afraid about mentality for the player.
What's going on here?
I tell you what, that is good management.
Is it?
That's fantastic. They've done wonderful. He's just given them that little bit of a telling off for no reason, just to say, "Oi,
Yeah.
get your feet back on the ground here now," just to get them fired up again.
Yeah, because when he's questioning the mentality of the player, hang on, this was a club, they were all friends, they had the spirit and it was all going
No,
well.
but he's
I'm worried about the mentality of the player.
No, but he's getting a little bit into the players, saying, "Hang on a minute, hey, get your
get 'em going again."
yeah." I think he's clever. We're all falling for it. Going what? He's not. He's just telling the players right, just to try and get them going again and really lift it up.
Okay, they're up against Al Ahly, who, to be fair, have been struggling. This is a good. I'm sorry to say this for Al Ahly, but it would seem, and you've got to look at this, that this is a great opportunity for Al Salia now to bounce back.
Definitely, I can't put my finger on it with Al Ahly. I look at they've got 4 strikers there: Chikawi, Michel the skipper, Nazarit, and Montari's just added to the squad. So 3 normally play with 3 up front. So 3 from 4 to choose from, and all those strikers I fancy. They've got goals in them, but they can't get going for some reason. They're not the Al Ahly of old, where we've seen them on the counter attack. Fast passes forward, getting in behind the defence. It's a slightly different format up front. They're not another team that's struggling to score goals for me.
Okay.
You just don't know where you are with them. It's very difficult to explain. How do they play? What they? It's left us. Are they doing? They're doing probably slightly better in the last couple of weeks, but we don't know what we're getting.
Al Salia versus Al Ahly, then Nick.
2-0 Salia.
Okay.
Sorry, 2-1 Salia.
Okay. Chris.
Be precise here, Chris.
Al Salia, Al Ahly.
I'll take the 2-0 off him then.
Go on. You take the 2-0. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Let's head back to Shadid Wada now and remind you of the league standings after the 9 weeks and how they line up for week 10.
Going into week 10 of the QMB Stars League, Al Duhail remain on top of the table with 25 points. Al Rayyan is in second place with 24 points after 6 consecutive wins. Al Sadd in third with 21 points. Al Salia make up the top 4 with 18 points. Slal are in 5th with 14 points, having only picked up 1 point in the last 3 matches. And Al Khor jumped from 11th to 6th with 10 points. In the bottom half is Al Kharaitiyat with 9 points. Al Ahli in 8th with 8 points. Al Gharrafa down in 9th with 7 points, having only picked 2 points in the last 5 matches. Al Arabi in 10th and Al Markhia 11th, both with 6 points. And popping up the table is Qatar Sports Club with 4 points. As for the fixtures, on Thursday the 30th of November, Al Gharrafa face Al Arabi at 1600 Doha time. Later on, Slal will face Al Rayyan at 1810. And on Friday, the 1st of December, Qatar Sports Club is up against Al Kharaitiyat at 1600, and Al Khor is up against Al Sadd, which will kick off at 1810 at the Khalifa International Stadium. On Saturday, the 2nd of December, Al Duhail meet Al Markhia at 1600, and Al Salia meet Al Ahli at 1810.
And so we're all set for week 10 from Nick Summerby, Chris Macon, and myself. Bye for now.